Part 41. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 401. Although Qinyi said this, Ji-Fei still accidentally tilted her head and said, "So, this Lu Yunqing is married? Is it convenient to come directly with someone else's family? Why does she always feel weird?" Qinyi was stunned for a moment. She didn't wear a ring. She looked like she was not married. And although she is a best friend, she is almost 7 or 8 years younger than my aunt. Ji-Fei and Qinyi looked at each other and felt that it was rude to think too much and felt very sorry. As a result, I heard Qin Xian say, "She is fifth aunt's best friend, why would she refuse to leave?" Qin Xian said. These words immediately shocked Qinyi and Ji-Fei. "That's right, I didn't react just now." Ji-Fei thought that if it was her best friend and her husband cheated on her, if she wasn't afraid that she would become a different person later on, she would definitely break up the relationship. It depends on her best friend's character, but it is absolutely impossible to break up the relationship. Thinking about it this way, it is really strange. But if someone really has any bad intentions, they wouldn't try to persuade them to make peace. It doesn't seem right. Forget it, I won't think about it until I see someone. Qinyi helped to speak, "Let's not discuss this for now. The fight just started and she was accidentally injured because she rushed over to stop the fight. She is a warm-hearted person, and I just saw that Zhao Qingle took great care of Lu Yunqing and seemed to have a good relationship. I guess she really looked like a godmother. She just helped Lu Yunqing to rest. Come back later. Come on, let's go first." The three of them rushed to the main hall of the main building together. As soon as they passed by, they heard the sound of a teacup hitting the ground. Looking outside the crowd, it turned out that the old man smashed the teacup in anger, and he hit it directly on Zhao Jianghe's forehead, which was already red and swollen. Zhao Jianghe was kneeling on the ground. He seemed to know that he was wrong and did not hide. Ji-Fei looked carefully and saw that he was a handsome uncle, and sitting on the sofa next to him was a beautiful woman with a pale face and an expressionless face. He looked extremely indifferent, as if he had given up completely, so he didn't care at all that the person in front of him was being embarrassed. "Ah, the fifth aunt is so beautiful, what kind of woman must Zhao Jianghe fall in love with to betray even the fifth aunt?" Hearing Ji-Fei's voice, Qin Lao's family paid attention. Soon, Ji-Fei lived up to expectations and came to a conclusion. "It's okay, the fifth aunt and the ex-uncle have no problem, but the cousin Zhao Qingle is too young, so there is no need to consider it." Qin Lao's family breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time they became nervous. Aren't the only ones left, Lao Lu and his stepsister? The stern questioning in the hall brought everyone back from their thoughts. It was the same place back then. "Have you forgotten what you promised me when you knelt here to serve me tea? Now you tell me that you have fallen in love with someone else. You are worthy of marrying you for so many years and working for you. A wife who takes care of the family business and raises children," the old man scolded. "I'm sorry for you. I admit it. You can punish me however you want." Zhao Jianghe's face was stiff, but he didn't argue. "I don't want to be like this, but I have never felt such a hot love before I met that person. I am also getting older and want to live for myself once more. I don't want to be bound by rules anymore. Oh, we both firmly chose to spend the rest of our lives with each other, but now you tell me that you have never felt true love before you met that person, so whom your true love?" Wu Gu swore directly. "Don't think that talking about change of heart and cheating so elegantly will not make people think that you have low morals, no bottom line, and are extremely disgusting. You knew what our family tradition was like before you married me. Do you think you can do it? You just married me, now you want to say that you are ignorant." Zhao Jianghe just turned pale, but did not refute. Wu Gu looked at her husband and finally didn't bother to say anything more. "There's nothing to say, let's get a divorce." Zhao Jianghe also had a look of regret on his face, but he still nodded after all. You are the one at fault, clean yourself up and leave the house, Wu Gu continued to say coldly. Zhao Jianghe suddenly looked up at Qin Wu Gu in surprise, as if he didn't believe that the other party would be so cruel. How dare you cheat, but don't dare to take responsibility for it. However, Zhao Jianghe said with an ugly face, I can't clean up and leave the house. I can give you more compensation, but you can't completely take away my career. Those are all things I worked hard for. What are you talking about? Do you mean that I have no share in your career? Wu Gu said angrily. The other brothers immediately glared at him. Zhao Jianghe suddenly felt justified and said, yes, you are the one who stabilized the rear and allowed me to work without any worries. You have a share, but you can't let me leave the house. You will ruin my career of. You ruined my marriage, why can't I ruin your career? After all, I manage my marriage as a career, Wu Gu said coldly. Zhao Jianghe suddenly became angry and said, Ayu, I'm sorry for my cheating, so I tolerated it without saying anything more, but have you done your job as a wife? Don't you know how dangerous my job is? Have you ever cared about me? You only know how to socialize in your circle of wives, you only know how to be your wealthy lady. Let me ask you, where were you when something happened to me? You stayed at home, the safest place. As for me, I was wandering about life and death. It was she who did not care about anything. And Wei comes to me and stays with me through life and death, otherwise you will not be divorced but widowed. Haha, maybe you would rather be widowed. These words were very heart-wrenching, as if Qin Wu Gu only cared about her reputation and status and didn't care about her husband's safety at all. Others knew what happened, but they finally understood. Maybe it was because of this crisis that they found out that Zhao Jianghe had cheated on them. Zhao Jianghe didn't care. He didn't want to hide it at all. He just wanted to be with someone who shared the same hardships. He felt that the person loved him more than his wife, and loved him with his life, so he was so desperate to dissolve the marriage with the Qin family. Qin Wu Gu was so angry that she laughed, so you two got out of it on your own. Wasn't it the rescue team I sent over who rescued you? Zhao Jianghe said, there are many people who can call the rescue team. She is the only one who is willing to die with me. She is the one who truly loves me. I don't deny that you care about me, but you are far less than her. Is it wrong for me to choose the best for me? Hearing this, Qin Wu Gu was too tired to defend herself. You are arguing, Wu Gu. Tell him, don't you want to say what you did? Isn't it for him that the wives' social circle is trying to integrate? If you hadn't dealt with the major forces over there, his business might have been in greater danger. Besides, when you got into trouble, who comforted your family, who settled the company, who retrieved the goods, who frantically contacted the embassy, who kept a close eye on the rescue team's news so that they could make adjustments at any time, who prepared medical supplies in advance and provided timely treatment? If it weren't for Fifth Aunt's busy work day and night, you would have died outside with your mistress a long time ago. You still have the nerve to point at Fifth Aunt and say that you don't love her enough. How can you think that just the word love can make the Buddha come down to earth to save you? After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yu. Chapter 402. Ji Fei's inner complaints directly shocked Qin Lao's family. Originally, she was really shocked by Zhao Jianghe's partiality, and her thoughts were almost distorted. She felt that it was excusable. Although their fifth sister was already very good, she seemed to have paid more, and there was nothing Zhao Jianghe could do about it. But now that she heard it, it was really infuriating. The younger generations couldn't speak. But Qin's father and mother would not let him go. Qin's father said coldly, Zhao Jianghe, you should go see your eyes, no, go see your brain. Zhao Jianghe was stunned and looked at Qin's father with some dissatisfaction, because he felt that he was not wrong. Let me ask you, when she was at home, the fifth sister didn't like socializing. Why did she want to integrate into the wives' circle to socialize in your place, just for her own eating, drinking, and having fun? Even if I don't know, I can think that it must be for you, Qin's father said. Zhao Jianghe's face changed slightly. Qin's fourth uncle has the most say. When I first arrived in G City, it was my wife who helped me expand my network of contacts, because wives are more social. She said she would help me get to know more people so that I wouldn't be strangled by local thugs when doing business. After she left, I really encountered a lot of head-on troubles. I appreciate everything she has done, but I just want her to do what she is interested in. Uncle Qin's eye is a soft knife, and Uncle Qin-san is a hard knife. He directly analyzed, so the security of your current career is related to my sister's social circle. Zhao Jianghe's face changed drastically, and he had to admit that the men behind those wives indeed, both black and white. What's even funnier is that you said that our sister only needs to make a phone call, Qin's mother said coldly. I don't know the specific situation, but I think when the fifth sister heard the news of your accident, she couldn't sleep well and eat well. After you came out, did you just sigh that others risked their lives for you? Didn't you sigh why your home was not in chaos, why the company was also good, and in such a messy place, would the rescue team really be so dedicated to rescue? If no one was watching and doing it, I think you probably wouldn't be rescued in the first time. Zhao Jianghe's eyes flashed, and he looked at Qin Wogu with some uncertainty. The oldest brother-in-law couldn't help but say, there must be no signal in that place, and it's inconvenient to contact. If the fifth sister wants to rescue you as soon as possible, she must arrange rescue outside, right? What you just said is to blame the fifth sister for not giving up everything, regardless of anything, and going to find you in person. Our fifth sister is not a pig-brained person, and she can't do such a drag. Zhao Jianghe's face turned green. Hubby, don't say that. Maybe his mistress is a Superman. She can save him with love alone and won't hold him back at all. The eldest aunt laughed and said, I just don't know what you and your lover were doing when my sister, who doesn't know how to take credit, was working hard to arrange for rescue. Are you saying sour words and swearing to the sky that you will never leave each other? Or are you kissing and waiting for a miracle to happen? Damn, it's a complete blast, this is too cool, everyone is really smart. This has made Zhao Jianghe blind and stupid. He deserves to be criticized. Qin's father and mother secretly gave Jifei a thumbs up in their hearts. If it weren't for Jifei, they would have almost been confused. Fortunately, they led to the doubts, and others followed up based on the doubts, otherwise their sisters would have been disappointed. At this time, Zhao Jianghe couldn't help thinking about those days, but he couldn't think of the hard work, only the touching moments. Even if she was so delicate and suffered so much for him, as a man, how could he not be moved? But what everyone said was not without reason, but these reasons were exaggerated. Presumably, their hard work and survival, what Au did was just icing on the cake, not real timely help. Anyway, without her, someone else would do this, but there was only one person who was willing to do everything for him. No one had experienced the same despair as him, so they would say such words lightly. I know Au did a lot, I didn't deny it, but, I can't be nothing, start from scratch, I have to give her a stable life. At least you leave me a company team, you can take everything else, Zhao Jianghe said a little dejectedly. Qin Wogu's eyes were a little red. You are really infatuated. Don't give in, why give it to them? If you leave the company, the Zhao family will support them casually, and they will recover again, letting them live a good life. Isn't it a nuisance to yourself? If a woman is not cruel, her position will be unstable. Although Qin's father and mother heard it, they couldn't say anything. After all, it was Wu Mei's own choice. But from what Jifei said, Wu Mei was going to spare his life. Just as she was thinking about it, a voice suddenly came. Mom, Dad's request is so low. If you still don't agree, isn't it too much? Aha! Ji Fei was shocked and turned to see a young boy who looked quite similar to his cousins. They were all good looking. At this time, he was supporting a delicate woman with a bitter face. The woman had long flowing hair and a beautiful white dress, like a daffodil staying in a quiet and elegant room. At this time, Lu Yunqing's eyes were red and swollen. When Qin Wugu saw the visitor, she was about to ask about the injury, but was interrupted by Zhao Jianghe. Are you injured? Zhao Jianghe suddenly asked. Although the people around felt strange for a moment, their thoughts were soon interrupted, because Lu Yunqing had already rushed to Qin Wugu, and said with tears in her eyes, you really want to divorce, you have been together for so many years, how can you just divorce? Don't be impulsive, isn't it the case for many wealthy families? Qin Wugu faced her face softened a little, I know you are worried about me, but I don't want to continue. Lu Yunqing turned to Zhao Jianghe, Brother Zhao, please think about it again. Zhao Jianghe looked ugly, and finally said, I want to give her a home. Lu Yunqing's tears fell directly. I don't object to your divorce, but I don't agree with the property division you just mentioned. Zhao Qingle stood up again to express his views. What is this, good son? Sure enough, sons can't empathize with their mothers. Qin Xian and Qin Chao immediately substituted, saying that they were not. But I always feel, so strange, this son, and this best friend, I always feel that everything is strange, isn't it just an ordinary divorce due to cheating? I'll check it out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 403. Ji Fei's grunt made Qin Lao and his family speculate. But just like Ji Fei's reaction before, it's impossible for anyone to bring the mistress upright. That would be too outrageous and explosive, impossible, absolutely impossible. However, it seems that I haven't heard Qin Wugu talk about the mistress. Have I never seen her at all? Wait, something doesn't seem right. Qin Wugu over there was also angry when she heard her son's words. She actually didn't want to fight for her last breath, but her son's words chilled her. She felt that her son should stand with her unconditionally. After all, it was his father who ruined her. This home. But now her son feels that she went too far. Do you think I should give way to that mistress? Then let them enjoy life, Qin Wugu said in disbelief. Lu Yunqing on the side trembled, Zhao Qingle's face tightened for a moment, and Zhao Jianghe suddenly became angry, don't say that. I'm sorry for you, but don't talk about her like a mistress. She didn't do anything wrong. It's all my fault. Qin Wugu looked at Zhao Jianghe without knowing why and snorted. Turning to look at his son, he seemed to be asking silently, do you still want to defend this person like this? Zhao Qingle scratched his head a little irritably, I didn't mean that. It was my dad who was wrong, but, it's my dad after all. Do you want my dad to have nothing? Then if you want to start a career after returning to the Zhao family, you will get a lot of anger. Yes, just for my sake, give my dad some capital to make a comeback. Obviously the son really cares about his father. Qin Wugu was willing to give it, but she didn't want her son to beg for it. She felt that her son had betrayed her and stood by his father, so at this moment, Qin Wugu couldn't help but feel angry. I won't give it to you. What are you going to do? Mom, Zhao Qingle frowned and said, it's not easy for my dad either. He finally came back safely. That person is indeed worthy of the credit. Why don't you kill them all? Qin Wugu was stunned for a moment. She even thought she was hearing hallucinations. It was incredible that her son not only spoke for his father, but also for the mistress who destroyed the family. Maybe in the son's eyes, that man did save his father. Aunt Xuanhuan had already begun to wonder if she was too stubborn. Even if he had his own arrangements, if the woman didn't go to find Zhao Jianghe would definitely die. Qin Wugu was in internal strife, and the other Qin family members were furious. Fortunately, Zhao Qingel was still half of the Qin family, so what nonsense were they talking about? Holy shit. Oh my god. I have to exercise restraint and not hit anyone. It cannot stand without evidence. Why am I so unlucky? Every time I go out, I encounter several psychopaths, and they always get sick in front of me. Your mother must not have thought it through when she gave birth to you, otherwise she would have to stuff you back and recreate you. Qin Lao's family, the scolding was so dirty. Are you scolding Zhao Qingel? Because of the annoying things he said? Beast, what did you give birth to after you were pregnant for 10 months? Qin Lao's family was already extremely curious. What happened? It seemed like it wasn't that simple. How do you, a family of 3, expose this group to the outside world? This person is your biological mother. Qin Lao's family seems to have learned some great news. Several people looked at the pitiful, harmless-looking woman uncontrollably. Zhao Qingel, if you were still a human being, you should have told your mother when you discovered the affair between your father and your mother's best friend. Is it because your mother is usually strict with you and your so-called aunt cares about you and helps you cover up when you are lazy? Do you think she treats you better than your mother and loves you more? You and your father are indeed the same species, both blind and blind. Qin Lao's family suddenly breathed out, and they were so angry that they didn't know how to breathe. What a brat with his elbows turned outward. Just because this aunt cried and repented and apologized in front of you after you found out, took responsibility for herself, and confessed her true love, you believed her and felt that your aunt and your father were pitiful. That was because you couldn't help yourself and had no choice. It's obviously true love, but it's blocked by marriage. Damn it, has your mother become a vicious supporting actress? Qin Lao's family felt that their blood pressure could no longer be maintained. Seeing your aunt crying and wanting to leave here and stop fighting with your dad, you can't bear it anymore and go to argue with your dad, saying that your dad is irresponsible. It's okay now, your dad is responsible when she pursues her husband thousands of miles away. You completely switch sides, completely ignoring how heartbroken your mother is, and thinking that since your father doesn't love your mother, divorce is the right thing to do. Divorce is right, but you have to clearly distinguish your position and who is the victim. You are so open-minded. Now I say that I am fighting for your father, but actually I want your father and aunt to live a better life together. I understand, you think your current mother is not good, and you want to change to a young and beautiful one who will pamper you and pamper you unconditionally. Is that my mother? Qin Lao's family, I want to hit someone, I really want to hit someone. I finally understand why Jifei has to restrain himself like crazy, because he really wants to kill this disgusting thing. Oh my god, this is the first time I have seen such a fresh and refined mistress. She is sincere in making friends with Wugu, but her eyes drift to her husband. Do you think you are acting in a bitter love drama? She is obviously seducing, but she feels innocent. It is not intentional. She is unable to control her feelings. Zhao Jianghe is also funny. He just can't stand a young beauty in front of him every day. He probably didn't cheat before because he didn't have the opportunity. Now there is a fat piece of meat delivered to the door, and he really took a bite. Is it playing an irresistible love at an age? Qin Lao's family felt mentally polluted. They couldn't imagine how these two people were entangled and hooked up in Qin Wugu's home. That kind of love-hate entanglement happened in front of Qin Wugu. Don't they feel disgusted? After being discovered by Zhao Qingel, they played a sadistic love, reluctant to refuse, and retreated to advance, right? A person who wants to leave, just heard that the other party was in trouble, and ran to find someone without hesitation. I admit that you are courageous, but I am disgusted. The funniest thing is that the two have already decided to never separate, but now they are persuading the victim not to divorce. What? Do you want to make yourself look holy and innocent? Oh, you don't want them to divorce, otherwise you feel like a mistress who destroys other people's families. You think Wugu is good to you, and she can't make her sad. You feel so guilty. Why did you fall in love with someone else's husband in the first place? Qin Lao's family, what a double-faced person, disgusting. So this Lu Yunqing really doesn't want them to divorce, and just wants to be a secret lover. According to the Zhao family, it means living with Zhao Jianghe in another place. Don't disturb each other with Qin Wugu. Wait, so other people in the Zhao family also know, and Qin Wugu is the only one who is kept in the dark. It's simply too much. Just when Qin Lao's family was about to explode, suddenly, there was a thump in the hall. That was the sound of the old man's cane hitting the ground. Obviously, Zhao Qingle's words just now also stimulated the old man. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 404. The whole family fell completely silent because of this sound. Zhao Qingle, Zhao Jianghe, and Lu Yunqing couldn't help but become nervous. That kind of coercion is naturally extraordinary. Qingle, the old man, spoke slowly. Zhao Qingle thought that the other party was going to reprimand him, but he felt that he was right. It was not easy for his father and his aunt. It was not their fault that they fell in love with each other. Love was uncontrollable, and his aunt was willing to die for his father. If he could meet such a gentle, considerate, and kind-hearted woman who only cares about herself, then he would have nothing to worry about. Coming from a family like theirs, it's hard to find true love, so what's wrong with cherishing it when you do? Moreover, after the divorce, my mother could have received the maximum compensation, but she decided to take everything away. So what will my father and aunt do in the future? The Zhao family will definitely blame them severely, and even try to break them up and force their father to come back to comfort their mother. Now that we have come to this point, there is really no need to dwell on it. He doesn't want to see a resentful mother and a bitter father in the future. Grandpa Zhao Qingle said, "My father has been very good to my mother for so many years. He made a mistake in the last bit. Is it so unworthy of forgiveness? No one can make mistakes without being a sage." The old man said, "I won't preach to you, I will let you make your choice." What? I'm an adult and don't need to choose between my parents. Zhao Qingle thought this was what the old man was talking about. In the end, the old man said directly, "I'll let you choose. If you support your father leaving 10% of the property, then you will lose the right to inherit everything in your mother's hands. If you choose to help your mother, let your father clean up when you leave the house, everything your mother got, including the Qin families, will be yours, you choose." Hey, Grandpa did a great job, just let him choose, Dad or Mom. If he chooses the wrong one, this white-eyed wolf boy will suffer. Sure enough, when the old man said this, not only Zhao Qingle, but also Zhao Jianghe and Lu Yunqing's expressions changed. Zhao Jianghe's expression changed. "I can understand it. After all, it is for his son's benefit. You are a mistress. Why did your expression change? Do you really regard Zhao Jianghe as your own son?" "Well, wait, oh, let me tell you, it turns out that you subconsciously think that there is nothing wrong with leaving the house. If Zhao Jianghe really can't do it, there is still a son to fill the gap. If the son has nothing, then both father and son will have to look at it." The Zhao family became pale. "It seems that you are not pure White Lotus, and you are quite quick in analyzing the pros and cons." Zhao Qingle reacted with embarrassment and anger. He felt that his grandfather was insulting him and thought that money could influence his decision. How could he be such a person? "Grandpa, I always thought you were a fair and strict elder. How could you force me to make such a choice? They are my parents. I don't want to hurt anyone, Zhao Qingle said with red eyes. My dad has promised compensation. This isn't it enough? It's too much to force me to take sides with my mother to such a degree of severance. Dad, it's my fault. There's no need to treat Lele like this, Zhao Jianghe said. You are forcing him to choose between me and Au. This is too cruel to the child. He is not a child anymore, he is an adult. Adults have the right to distinguish right from wrong and make choices, the old man said coldly. Zhao Qingle also had a stubborn temper and said directly, I'm trying to distinguish right from wrong. I feel that although my dad is at fault, it's not that big of a fault. That person saved my dad, and my dad wants to be with her. It's so unbearable. Is it okay if parents don't have any feelings for each other? The old man looked at Zhao Qingle and his face became colder. I don't deny that maybe what you said may make sense from your point of view, but our Qin family has one thing, that is, to protect one's own shortcomings, and to protect one's own family absolutely unconditionally. If even one's own family is wrong, my family is partial, what's the use of keeping it? Remember, boy, you may or may not be the grandson of our Qin family. We just drove away a grandson not long ago, and you are not missing a grandson. If you keep being angry, if you don't respect your mother, you don't have to recognize us relatives. Master, Grandma Lu, who had always been quiet, became anxious. She loved every junior very much. The old man waved his hand to signal Grandma Lu to leave it alone, and said directly, your mother is the only victim in this matter. As the daughter-in-law of the Zhao family, your mother has never done anything wrong. You can't do it just because she doesn't do what you want. Just bully her like this. My old man is not dead yet, no one can bully my child like this. Dad Qin Woga burst into tears. The old man said to the ugly-faced father and son, you can't put yourself in my daughter's shoes, so why should I care whether you think the punishment is too severe? Regarding divorce, I'll leave it here. My daughter said if you cleanse yourself and leave the house, you have to cleanse yourself and leave the house, unless your Zhao family wants to have a chance with our Qin family. Zhao Jianghe's face turned completely pale. Qin Wogu originally wanted to be merciful, but her father supported her so much and her brothers from her parents' family supported her. Why should she let herself be wronged? Just think that she went too far. She just wanted to make Zhao Jianghe's life difficult, in order to relieve her resentment. As for you, the old man looked at Zhao Qingle, who was already pale, I'm giving you a choice now, do you still want to fight for your father? Qin Wogu also looked at her son. She was really saddened by her son today. Zhao Qingle said aggrievedly, Grandpa, do you still have a choice for me? Don't you insist on letting my father cleanse himself and leave the house? Oh, yes, if you support your father, the court may rule differently, but our Qin family will not give in. The old man said this and said directly, choose. Zhao Qingle trembled. Lu Yunqing couldn't help but pull the arm of Qin Wogu beside him, as if to hint that she shouldn't make such a big deal, after all, he was her son. Ji Fei was annoyed when she saw Lu Yunqing still acting as a best friend. How could she be so shameless? Ji Fei suddenly rolled his eyes, raised a smirk at the corner of his mouth, and said directly, hey, how dare you, a mistress, make a big fuss for you, how dare you still have the face to pick on our fifth aunt? After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yu. Chapter 405. After these words came out, the whole audience was stunned, and almost everyone looked at Ji Fei. Especially the new family of three, their pupils were shaking. Ji Fei seemed to be shocked and leaned towards her husband. Qin Xian hugged his wife calmly. Qin Lao's family was scared to death, thinking that Ji Fei accidentally spoke out her true feelings. The most shocked person on the spot was Qin Yi. After all, Qin Yi had just introduced them. You You are talking about me. Lu Yunqing was the first to react, with tears of grievance in her eyes. I mean you, aren't you a mistress? I just saw you flirting with your ex-uncle. Ji Fei continued to say fearlessly. Now the eyes of the people around him were not right. You misunderstood, I was talking to a you. Lu Yunqing immediately looked at her best friend anxiously. But she saw a flash of doubt in her best friend's eyes. You are Qin Xian's wife? Why are you talking like that? She is your aunt's friend. Zhao Jianghe calmed down and immediately questioned. After all, she is an elder, how could she be humiliated by a young man like this? Ah! Really? Ji Fei looked suspicious. Ahem, be polite to our daughter-in-law. They were not here just now. Fifa, I came here for the first time. She has never seen you, let alone others. She is still a child. How can she tell them apart? Qin's mother immediately defended her. Ji Fei immediately nodded in grievance. Others, still a child. But Ji Fei's behavior just now was a bit strange. Did he really misunderstand? She is my best friend over there, her name is Lu Yunqing, and Qin Wu said, you must be Ji Fei, right? This is not a good occasion for our first meeting. Aunt will greet you later. Looking at the forced smile of Aunt Qin Wu, Ji Fei was even more unconvinced, and, I'm sorry, I thought my ex-uncle brought his mistress to apologize, I really didn't expect it was your best friend. After saying this, the few people breathed a sigh of relief, and Aunt also forced a smile. The next second, Ji Fei said, I really envy Aunt for having such a best friend. For such family affairs, your best friend is worried that you have to accompany her. Those who don't know would think that our Qin family is very disharmonious and will not stand up for Aunt at all. After these words came out, those who didn't hear Ji Fei's inner voice also immediately realized that something was wrong. Yes, even if the relationship is good, it's not that she would get involved in family affairs such as divorce, it's not that she doesn't have reliable family members in her mother's family. There are many family members in her mother's family here, and there is really no need for her enthusiastic best friend to follow her across half the world. Doesn't she work? Don't you have your own business? But it's hard to speculate. There are not many best friends here. Who knows if the friendship between best friends is just like this? But Qin Wogu's face became subtle, as if she couldn't figure it out. I'm worried about Au. I'm watching their family live happily. I really don't want such a life to be broken. It's not easy to maintain any marriage. How can Au leave this family? It's too pitiful for Au. Why can't you take a step back? Lu Yunqing broke out in cold sweat, but still couldn't help persuading. Qin Wogu couldn't help but frowned, a little disappointed. I don't like what you said. I feel like you are not here to support your aunt, but to lobby for your current uncle. Did you receive benefits from the Zhao family, or do you have a better relationship with your ex-uncle than with your aunt? Ji Fei said in confusion, as a best friend, shouldn't you help your aunt beat up the cheating scumbag? Why do you keep persuading your aunt to let go and forgive? Lu Yunqing was really crying now. What's wrong with you, young man? I came here with good intentions to persuade reconciliation. The Bodhisattva said that it is better to demolish 10 temples than to destroy a marriage. Is there anything that makes you dissatisfied with my behavior? My parents are divorced, so I naturally know the pain of a divorced family. Ji Fei was dumbfounded. How could she really say that it is better to demolish 10 temples than to destroy a marriage? Lu Yunqing is the kind of person who can cry very well. She cried like a pear blossom in the rain, which made me feel pity and distressed. It seemed that others really wronged her. Ji Fei looked at her former uncle and wanted to hug him to comfort him. Zhao Qingle also looked anxious. She came to help. Why are you always arguing and slandering her, looking for trouble with her, and deliberately making trouble? Zhao Qingle said angrily. The elders dare not say anything. Can he be a coward among his peers? Aunt is such a gentle person, she can be bullied and cry, then how bad must the mouth of this person be? Just when he wanted to scold him again, he felt an almost suffocating sight. Qin Xian looked over coldly. My wife didn't make trouble, she was speaking for my aunt. It's better than some sons, it's better to raise a dog, at least the dog will be unconditionally loyal to the master. Qin Xian suddenly rarely said so bluntly about a person, which shows that he was really angry. There may be many reasons, but everyone can feel that the most is because of Jifei. When someone talks about Jifei, he loses his indifference. I don't know why Qin Lao's family wanted to smile with relief when they saw this scene. If it weren't for Fei, they probably wouldn't have seen Qin Xian show such a vivid expression or say such human words in their lifetime. It's just, the occasion is not right. Qin Xian cursed a little dirty, saying that his cousin is worse than a dog. Even if you don't consider the blood relationship of your cousin, look at your aunt. After all, he is her biological son, so you still have to give him some face. However, the other relatives all looked indifferent. In fact, they had wanted to scold him a long time ago. Zhao Qingle had not seen Qin Xian many times. After all, Qin Xian did not come to Y City, and Zhao Qingle was abroad all year round. He would only meet him occasionally in the city where Qin Xian was. Although he was not familiar with him, he knew his temper. He used to be very distant and difficult to get close to. He always spoke in a cold tone, neither hurried nor slow, so that people could only watch from afar. Later, his reputation became even more well known. The Zhao family often mentioned that he had an amazing cousin, and the Qin family might be even more powerful in the future. So Zhao Qingle always had an inexplicable awe and admiration for him. Before, he heard that he was deceived into marriage, and he was very angry and scolded that person. And now his cousin actually scolded him for that person? The first time he heard such a scolding, Zhao Qingle was also shocked. His face flushed in an instant, and his eyes were also aggrieved and tearful. It's obviously her. Alas, I don't mean any harm, I just feel weird, Jifei said innocently, then smiled and said, why are you so sensitive? Jifei's eyes that seemed to see through something instantly startled Zhao Qingle, and he began to doubt whether his reaction was really sensitive. After all, he had a guilty conscience, as if walking on a tightrope on a cliff, always worried about being seen. It was also because Aunt Lu was too kind, and she was afraid of ruining her parents' marriage and wanted to come over to dissuade her. She would rather be a shameful mistress than make her mother sad. Zhao Qingle naturally wanted to protect such a person who couldn't bear to hurt others. After all, Aunt Lu was the best person to play with him. Okay, it's all misunderstandings, no need to talk about it anymore, I promise, I will leave the house with nothing, Zhao Jianghe said. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After The Wife of a Wealthy Family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 406. It is probably because he is afraid of making mistakes if he says too much, and also to preserve his son's right to inherit the property in the future. After all, it is something he has worked hard for, and it is acceptable to leave it to his son in the future. It is just that Lu Yunqing has to accompany him to make a comeback. But he believed that Lu Yunqing would agree if he loved him so much. Lu Yunqing felt a sense of loss in her heart, but she didn't say anything. Anyway, she couldn't even stop the divorce. And if she continues to persuade her, there is a risk of exposure, although she will have to apologize to Au sooner or later. But I also hope that the sooner this time comes, the better. In the remaining time, she spent more time with Au, making her happy, and regarded it as her final attempt to make amends. After Jifei caused a disturbance, he backed away obediently. After all, he had no evidence, and they would not admit it if he made nonsense. he just hoped that it would make everyone have doubts. Don't let these people flirt with each other while they are in the Qin family without others knowing, which is disgusting. Hey, did you just? Qin Yi asked quickly in a low voice. Ji Fei almost forgot about Qin Yi, and immediately used her smart little brain to find a reason, and heard her husband say, "Didn't she just say that?" She saw the two people flirting back and forth, so she must be suspicious. Ji Fei immediately hugged her husband happily and said, "Yeah, that's it." "Ah, are you really flirting?" Qin Yi was dumbfounded. Is it true? You can ask Aunt later if she has ever seen the mistress and knows who she is. If she doesn't know who she is, isn't she the most suspicious?" Ji Fei said. Qin Yi was stunned, and then said, "Then why are you trying to persuade him to make peace? Is there anyone willing to be a mistress? Then who knows the brain circuit of the mistress?" Ji Fei curled her lips. "Maybe she thinks she is the Holy Mother and wants to accumulate merit. But the merit is definitely not enough, ha ha ha." Ji Fei couldn't control it for a moment and almost laughed out loud. Fortunately, Qin Xian raised his hand to cover it. As a result, Ji Fei relied on Qin Xian's solid chest and looked at him with a smile with bright eyes. Qin Xian had a gentle smile on his lips and leaned closer. "What are you looking at? Look how handsome my husband is." Ji Fei felt that she would always be aroused by some of Qin Xian's actions. When he just cursed, Qin Xian felt that his whole person was different, he was shining. Qin Xian couldn't bear the attack from his wife's eyes, so he placed a kiss on his forehead as if no one else was watching. Qin Yi didn't even look at it, he was still talking about divorce. "Once everything is settled, we will arrange for a lawyer to come over. Lawyers also need to prepare materials and contact foreign law firms, so it takes time. They will stay here for 2 more days." As Lu Yunqing's best friend, he naturally lived here with Qin Wugu. Although Zhao Qingle was still angry with the Qin family, he was still considered the grandson of the Qin family, so it was impossible for him to live out. Logically speaking, Zhao Jianghe should be too embarrassed to continue living here. But he had the audacity to say he would stay for 1 night. "Take care of things before leaving tomorrow, and pack up the personal belongings left here. After all, I occasionally came back to visit the old man with you. If anything happens to the lawyer, they can communicate immediately." Qin Wugu would not chase them away. After all, although she was resentful, she did not feel hysterical. She could just arrange to stay in the guest room. When Lu Yunqing was scheduled to see a doctor before, he also arranged a guest room in advance, and that guest room must be for her to stay in. This time, 2 people live alone in a building reserved for guests. Because Lu Yunqing stayed with Qin Wugu directly after the discussion to talk privately, so few people noticed anything unusual. Even Ji Fei forgot about it and only saw Lu Yunqing following Qin Wugu. Then Zhao Jianghe carried another suitcase and walked out. Zhao Qingle, who had just had a conflict with them, first went to the guest room with his father, and then returned to the back of the building for the young people. He saw a group of people sitting and talking in the hall. As soon as he came in, everyone looked at him, which made him feel embarrassed and could only go up to say hello. This time, she was polite. She even called Ji Fei's second sister-in-law and even took the initiative to apologize to Qin Xian and Ji Fei for the conflict just now. Although I knew he didn't mean it, and I even thought it was Ji Fei who was making things difficult for Lu Yunqing, the etiquette was fine. It seemed that Qin Wugu had taught her well, but she didn't expect her mind to wander halfway. Children can easily resent those who work harder for their future and act more strictly, and may even doubt their intentions. It is not ruled out that some parents do have impure intentions, but most of them are worried about whether their children can withstand risks in the future. The reason why Qin Wugu is strict with Zhao Qingle is because the Zhao family is not harmonious, and he has the Qin family as his backer, which makes him a thorn in the eyes of many people. He must be excellent to gain a foothold, so he is not allowed to just enjoy himself at a young age. But Lu Yunqing has been taking advantage of Qin Wogu's strictness, expressing her love for him, bringing him benefits, and helping him escape in various ways, so he gets closer to Lu Yunqing. This is also Wugu's fault. Is Lu Yunqing really good at pretending? She didn't even notice it, she just thought that Lu Yunqing was soft-hearted and a child who needed to be educated. It can only be said that Lu Yunqing is really good at keeping this family of three alive. Of course, the one with the most bad temper among them was Qin Xiao. They saw each other every year at the old house, so they were familiar with each other, so he took the lead in speaking. "I haven't seen you before, kid. Why are you turning your elbows outward? Help the mistress, and you, dad, tell me, you are out of your mind." Zhaoqingle was not too restrained with him and said directly, "Don't look at me like that, you don't know the specific situation, so let me ask you, what should you do if you meet a soulmate after marrying someone? And this soulmate is kind-hearted and doesn't want to destroy your family at all, but is willing to die for you when you are in danger. Can you guarantee that you won't be tempted?" This assumption stunned many people present. Listen carefully to what he says. "And I think my dad is responsible." After he determined that he could not separate from the other party, he faced the consequences decisively. The Zhao family was not willing to let him divorce, and the other party did not ask him to divorce, but he did not want to drag my mother down, and I want to give another person an explanation. Isn't it enough for him to do this? I don't deny that my mother is wronged, but I can understand his suffering. Do you think you could do better? Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 407. Zhaoqingle's words were quite reasonable, and the others were fooled. Only Qin Lao's family showed contempt. If they hadn't heard Ji Fei's inner voice, they wouldn't have believed that this boy was so eloquent. Although this didn't turn black and white, it also vilified Qin Wogu's efforts and beautified the cheating scumbag and the slut. I only know that if I marry someone, it must be someone I love. If I love, then I will definitely not find the eyes of the so-called soulmate. My eyes will always look at my wife. If you don't look around, can you meet a soulmate? What a joke, Qin Chao retorted directly. Zhaoqingle's face froze, as if he was angry. I think if you are really kind-hearted, you won't like other people's husbands. Qin Rong couldn't help but speak. It's strange to rush to take care of other people's husbands. Does she show how capable she is? As the elders said, is she absolutely sure to save people? If not, then isn't it just letting herself? Qin Yan spoke reservedly. Qin Xiao added directly. Just let yourself go wild. You, don't talk so harshly, okay. Zhaoqingle was so anxious that he felt that these people didn't see Lu Yunqing's pitiful and painful appearance, so they looked at him with malice. Then let's talk about something logical. It's not that your father is responsible, but your mother found out that he cheated, so they divorced. If she hadn't found out, would your father divorce? Zhaoqingle was shocked and his expression was a little uncontrollable. In fact, he was the first to rush to the hospital. At that time, his father promised to give Lu Yunqing a home, but Lu Yunqing was unwilling to do so. She said that she couldn't hurt her mother or destroy the family. She didn't want to be a bad woman. She just wanted to accompany her father. In the end, his father compromised and decided to hide for a while. As a result, his mother found out the truth and started a fight. This logic before and after, when I just said it, did I unconsciously lean towards them? Zhaoqingle's mind cleared up for a moment, but it was still covered by bias. No one knows this, I think my dad will get divorced. Ji Fei laughed, and Zhaoqingle blushed with anger. As a result, Ji-Fei suddenly changed the subject and said, "Hey, do you have a girlfriend?" "Yes, yes." Zhao Qingle was confused. Then he reacted. "You don't want to ask what I would choose if I met my soulmate, then I will follow my heart and not drag anyone." Ji-Fei rolled his eyes. "Then do you love her?" "Of course." "Very good. If your girlfriend wants to break up with you now because she has found her soulmate, the love of her life, will you smile and say congratulations?" Zhao Qingle was dumbfounded, but there was still a flash of anger on his face. Ji-Fei smiled directly and said, "It seems that men are really easy to put themselves in the perspective of men, and don't consider what will happen in reverse. You just asked us if we can do better if we encounter this situation. Ask yourself first." Zhao Qingle's eyes began to flicker, and he seemed a little confused. Ji-Fei didn't know if this person could be saved. Anyway, if it was her own son, then there was no hope. She should throw him away. The former third aunt could give birth to another child. Maybe the fifth aunt could give birth to a second child if she tried hard. Anyway, the first one was useless, so she could start over with the second one. Suddenly, Zhao Qingle picked up the red wine on the table and drank it in a depressed mood. "Actually, I originally thought that it would be better if my mother didn't know anything. I didn't want my parents to divorce, but now that it has come to this, what else can I do?" "Oh my God, your idea is really harmful, and it's your own mother who is harmed," Qin Chao said. "As a woman, a strong woman, a woman of the Qin family, we hope to be the first to know when encountering such a thing," Qin Wenqiang said. Why, Zhao Qingle asked, "many families live in a muddle. Can changing someone guarantee a better life?" "But the fifth aunt is only in her 40s, and she can start a new life." Qin Jing participated in the discussion. Even Qin Jiaxi had some realizations, and whispered, "If you don't know, you will work hard for a man who doesn't love you and doesn't respect you. Maybe when he has an illegitimate child, he may give up his family business. If so." Qin Jiaxi pursed her lips, "Then you have lived in vain." Zhao Qingle grew up in a different environment from them. Although he felt that what everyone said made sense, shouldn't life be confused? "Cousin, why don't you say a few words?" Qin Chao asked when he saw Qin Yi didn't speak. Qin Yi was stunned, with a strange look, because he was still thinking about whether Lu Yunqing was hiding a mistress. If so, it was really disgusting for them to bring this mistress with him. Qin Yi thought about it and asked Zhao Qingle, "By the way, who is that mistress? Have you seen her?" Zhao Qingle suddenly froze, looking unnatural. Other people who didn't know the truth became curious and asked what she looked like and what her identity was. "I don't want to discuss it," Zhao Qingle said stiffly. "Has your mother seen him? Does she know him?" Qin Yi spoke again. "No. I haven't seen him, I just heard about him. That person is very weak, not aggressive. My father is afraid of my mother." "Afraid that her aunt will bully her? Who is bullying whom now? Isn't this the kind of White Lotus bitch shown on TV?" Qin Xiao said in surprise. "No wonder you also speak for others. I feel that you are also confused and think she is weak. You are bullied and need protection. People are riding on your mother's head, and I don't see you protecting your mother." Zhao Qingle looked embarrassed. Qin Chao then mocked, "If it were me, I would have taken out my mother's anger and beat the mistress so violently that her mother wouldn't even recognize her. I've said it before, she didn't even risk her life for my dad. She is a sincere person, not a shameless mistress," Zhao Qingle said impatiently. It seems that in Zhao Qingle's eyes, that sharing of life and death really deserves the greatest respect. Seeing Zhao Qingle's protective attitude, Qin Yi said, "It can't really be Lu Yunqing." He swallowed it back in his mouth. After all, if he was so protective, he would probably refuse to admit it, so as to protect that person. If it is really Lu Yunqing, then the cousin in front of him is really disappointing. Qin Yi couldn't help but said, "A sincere person? Your dad can only see clearly the people walking with him in front of him, but he can't see the people clearing obstacles for him in the distance. He can walk smoothly not because there are people accompanying him, but because there are people ahead of time. Help clear up all the obstacles. Your dad can't see it, and you can't see it either. I feel so sad for my aunt. Xiaoqinggle felt that he couldn't explain it to everyone, so in the end he didn't want to say anything and simply changed the topic. Don't talk about my family's affairs. It ends like this anyway. What else can happen? Let me tell you about you. I haven't seen you for more than a year. This time, my second brother and my second sister-in-law are here. Is there anything new? There was a lot of commotion abroad before, and I don't know much about things here. Just now, Grandpa said, why don't you want your grandson? Everyone. Jifei, are you good at chatting or drinking your wine? Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 408. Having said that, other kind people still patiently told him about the current situation here. I heard that within a month, people were getting divorced, people were breaking up, people were going to the hospital, and people were going to jail. It was very exciting. Xiaoqinggle's face turned green, probably because he suddenly felt that their family was no longer a big deal. Jifei could tell by looking at his expression. I couldn't help but complain in my heart. Your family's affairs are not trivial. It is very likely that you will follow in the footsteps of that grandson. After all, what you did is also quite wicked. We must find a way to expose this matter. After all, Lu Yunqing's white lotus is still shining. I don't think it can be done. The fifth aunt suffered a double blow at the same time, so even if they divorced, she would choose to keep hiding it from Zhao Jianghe. She didn't have to ask for a wedding. She wanted to keep hiding it until it was exposed. It didn't matter that she felt wronged. She hoped that the fifth aunt would. Then I can put aside all my grievances and bless them. You people from Qin Lao's family, if you continue to investigate the mistress's mental journey, we are going to have sex too. There is probably no chance now. After all, in our territory, they must be very careful. So regarding the topic that was flirting with each other just now, give my husband a heads up and ask him to check it out. Then I will give the evidence directly to Wu Aunt. Qin Xian raised his lips. In fact, he had already sent someone to investigate. After all, he knew his wife's tricks, but he still wanted to hear how his wife's pillow wind blows. I don't think this is a double blow for a woman. If her best friend betrays her, she unconsciously tells her her feelings, remains a friend, and maintains the relationship. Only when she finally finds out does she become disgusted and depressed. Woolen cloth. Qin Lao's family also felt the same way and strongly agreed with a quick resolution. After chatting for a while, things about fifth aunt always came up again. Xiaoqingle always accidentally got into conflicts with everyone. He was afraid that he would talk nonsense after drinking too much, so he planned to go for a walk first to sober up and then rest. In fact, everyone said they were upset and some were too embarrassed to stay any longer. The remaining people are still chatting. It was getting late, and they were about to disperse, but fifth aunt suddenly came over. Everyone said hello obediently. Fifth aunt came back this time and brought gifts to everyone, especially for Qin Xian and Jifei. After all, when I heard that they could come this time, fifth aunt was initially very surprised and looking forward to it. If there was no follow-up those bad things, I will see you all in a better light today. Seeing that fifth aunt was in good condition, everyone joked about it, telling her not to go with the old and not come with the new, and to wait for grandpa's birthday party. At that time, there were the most people, and there were many young talents to choose from for her. Qin Wugu was amused, and then she asked Xiaoqingle where his room was, and she went to talk to him. Not in the room. We just made him angry and went out for a walk, Qin Xiao said mischievously. Qin Wugu said helplessly, did you talk about him? Shouldn't he say it? Qin Xiao also pouted. Qin Wugu sighed, maybe he blamed me for being too calm at first. Huh? Can you handle it if you don't calm down? Qin Jing said helplessly, someone has to calm down. Anyway, he doesn't seem to be someone who can calm down. So there is a misunderstanding. He will understand when he is more mature, Qin Wugu said. It seemed that although her son had hurt her heart, she still wanted to make it clear to her son, hoping that he could understand her. It's a pity, your son hid something bigger from you, etc. Auntie, why are you alone? Where is your best friend? Ji Fei asked curiously. Looking at Lu Yunqing's behavior before, I thought she would pretend to be inseparable besties. Qin Wugu didn't expect Ji Fei to pay so much attention to Lu Yunqing. Thinking of the unfriendly words Ji Fei said when they misunderstood, something suddenly flashed in her mind. Well, it's so late and she's tired. She went back to the guest room to rest. She won't sleep with you? Ji Fei asked in surprise. Well, no, Qin Wugu said with a smile, we are not little girls anymore. How can we have a good time and sleep together? Ji Fei suddenly stopped laughing. So, the former uncle was in the building where he entertained guests, and the mistress was also in the building where he entertained guests, just the two of them, a man and a woman alone. Now they are, damn it, come on, catch the adulterer. Qin Lao's family was so excited that they almost stood up reflexively. No way, is it so exciting? Look for reasons, find reasons. At this moment, Qin Wugu thought they had nothing to ask, so she turned around and said, I'll go out and look for them. Ji Fei's eyes suddenly lit up, we're here with you. We just made my cousin unhappy, so we took the initiative to find him. Maybe we can calm things down a little bit. We're just brothers and sisters who are noisy and we can't leave our anger until tomorrow. Qin Lao and his family gave a thumbs up. But then I thought something was wrong. Does this have anything to do with catching an adulterer? Xiaoqingle doesn't live there. Qin Xian hugged Ji Fei and stood up, well, what my wife said makes sense. Qin Lao's family all said this when they saw Qin Xian. They must have a complete plan, and they were immediately relieved. The others were left confused. Do they need to maintain their relationship like this? But seeing Qin Lao's family taking action, they couldn't help but stand together, so they all stood up together. Qin Wugu was stunned, but she was relieved to see this, so she didn't stop her. But as soon as they went out, Qin Lao's family panicked. If they met Xiaoqingle directly, wouldn't it be over immediately? I was scared to death. I almost forgot just now, if I ran into Xiaoqingle, it would be the end. Fortunately, there is no one outside for the time being. I checked. Oh, Xiaoqingle has now gone to the small maze that Grandpa made for Qin 11 and Qin Weiwei, and he hasn't gotten out yet. Now that we are out together, we should think about how to lead the fifth ant over there. Qin Lao's family, what do you want now? Everyone walked out anxiously. Suddenly, Qin Xian said, I think I saw my cousin enter the guest building. Did he go to find Zhao Jianghe? Oh my god, is Qin Xian dazzled? He's obviously not there, but it's okay, this excuse works. Ji Fei's heart was pounding. Ah. Is that so? Then It was obvious that the fifth Aunt Qin didn't want to contact her ex-husband again, and might even give up looking for Xiaoqingle. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yu Yuze. Chapter 409. Why is it so difficult to lead someone to catch an adulterer? I just did it when my head got hot, and now I am so worried. Qin Xian said, why don't you go and take a look? We have talked about my cousin a lot before. If he gets provoked and conflicts with Zhao Jianghe, we will be in trouble. There was a hint of worry in Qin Xian's cold tone, which was very credible. Qin Wugu suddenly became worried. The others thought about it and realized that what they just said was indeed to let Zhao Qingle see how his father went too far and how difficult his mother was. If he could really listen to the truth, it would indeed be possible to argue with his father. Of course, this is a good idea, mainly because what Qin Xian said is very convincing. Qin Yi seemed to have suddenly thought of something, and suggested, why don't you all go and take a look? Qin Chao also reacted immediately, yeah, go check it out, forget it if it's not there. Qin Wugu didn't want to go at first, but she was surrounded by everyone and went there inexplicably. Ah, isn't the opportunity coming now? It went incredibly smoothly. My husband is my lucky star. Let the truth come out on our chassis. We want you to look good. Catching an adulterer is so exciting, hee hee. Qin Lao's family also felt it was too exciting, and their adrenaline was starting to surge. After all, after knowing the truth, it was very annoying to see those people joining forces to deceive their aunt. The problem is that they still feel that they are wronged and are thinking about their aunt, which makes it even more disgusting. So the sooner this kind of thing is revealed, the better. Oh, we hugged each other, hey, we kissed each other, grass, you can't help but start taking off your clothes, right? Qin Lao's family listened to the broadcast of their heartfelt voices, and their faces turned green. This is so shameless. They are still in the ex-wife's natal family, and they dare to come like this. They are worse than animals. Catch you in action. In this building, only the servants rest in the nanny's room on the first floor, and the second floor is where the guests live. It was quiet when I walked upstairs. Because Qin Lao's family took the lead in quieting down, even breathing softly, so that others did not dare to speak. I couldn't help but wonder, what are they doing? Why are you so quiet? Could it be that you want to secretly listen to the conversation between father and son and see if Zhao Qingle has reflected on it? Everyone is wondering. Ji Fei was thinking about how to open the door to catch the traitor. You can't let Qin Wugu knock on the door. Once you knock on the door, maybe they can find a reason for the two of them to continue to fool Qin Wugu. Just as she was thinking this, she came to the door. Qin Wugu was about to knock on the door when a voice suddenly came from inside the door. No, brother Zhao, this is Ao's house, we can't do this. Ayun, I have been wrong today, and I feel sorry for you. Then there was a sound like being out of breath after a kiss. Qin Wugu's movements froze in an instant. Although the people behind could not hear clearly, there were vague voices of men and women. Oh my God, are the soundproofing effects of the guest rooms here so bad? This time it comes with no effort, huh? Wait, then when Qin Xian and I were in the room, wasn't it? Qin Xian quickly hugged Ji Fei to stop her from thinking about it. There were others here. Qin Lao's family, they have never heard of the corner. Moreover, the apartments for young people there are newly built and have excellent sound insulation, so there is no problem here at all. Ji Fei was distracted by Qin Xian, and saw Qin Wugu's eyes gradually turning red beside her. Apparently she got it. The conversation inside continues. When Au and I get divorced, we will have a wedding when we get back. I must give you the best, otherwise I will be sorry for your deep friendship with me. No, I am very satisfied that I can be in love with brother Zhao. I don't need those external things, as long as you can take me with you every day. Why? Ayun, don't you want to marry me? But Au will definitely know about your wedding. I don't want her to be sad. You know, I didn't want to snatch you from her in the first place. I just love you uncontrollably. If I could, I want to maintain a balanced relationship between the three of us, and I don't want to see my bestie sad, but she happened to find out. Now I just hope that she knows the truth as late as possible. But Ayun, you are so wronged. I'm not wronged. I just want you to be well. Don't worry, I'll stay with you, but I will also keep in touch with Au to comfort her. Maybe after I help her resolve her worries, I can help her find the next spring, so that in the future if we know the truth, she won't blame us. Unless we get her blessing, we will never have a wedding in this life. Ayun, you are so kind. You have wronged yourself so much for her. In fact, it is not your fault. It's my fault. I fell in love with my best friend's husband. This is what I should bear. I just hope that one day, the three of us can still be like friends. Xuanhuan couldn't listen anymore. With tears streaming down her face and her eyes scarlet, she suddenly opened the door and rushed in. Others rushed in soon after. Regardless of whether they heard the noise coming from inside clearly or not, everyone figured it out. They are trying to catch an adulterer. There seems to be no other choice for the person to catch the adulterer. It is the best friend who came here in the name of a good relationship. I really had a sense of déjà vu that the murderer was right next to me. Is it really dark under the lamp? In this way, Xuanhuan didn't even notice it. Soon, screams came. What came into view was a very eye-catching scene. The two people on the bed should not have completely let go, but they were already disheveled, hugging each other, chatting and being intimate. This scene alone was already ironclad evidence. It was Lu Yunqing who screamed, and Zhao Jianghe was also scared, but he immediately pulled the quilt over Lu Yunqing, who was almost exposed, and stood up with a sullen face. But because of the reaction of his body, he was still very embarrassed when he stood up. Zhao Jianghe had an ugly expression and even wanted to get angry at Xuanhuan. Where is your upbringing? Why do you break into someone else's room? Xuanhuan seemed to be still digesting everything she saw in front of her. She was confused and did not answer. But the Qin family who followed were already furious. How can you, a man who had an affair with a mistress at his ex-wife's house, talk to us about upbringing? Qin Xiao said angrily. Besides, this is our room. We can break in if we want, Qin Jing said. Damn it, Qin Wenqiang hated the mistress the most, and rushed up to pull the quilt directly. Lu Yunqing screamed. Don't touch her. Zhao Jianghe wanted to move, but was pushed to the ground by Qin Yi and Qin Xiao. The quilt was pulled open, and Lu Yunqing fell on the bed in embarrassment. When she raised her head, she looked at Xuanhuan with a pitiful and tearful look. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yu. Chapter 410. Even her tone was aggrieved. Xuanhuan's pupils shrank, and she rushed forward, grabbed Lu Yunqing's hair with one hand, and slapped him continuously. Lu Yunqing screamed in pain. Zhao Jianghe was furious and wanted to run to stop him. He had some brute force and broke through Qin Yi and Qin Xiao, but was still turned around and kicked to the ground by Qin Xian. This is the grudge between my aunt and her bestie. You'd better not get involved, Qin Xian said coldly. After all, if you do something wrong to others, you will always be punished. The room was filled with slaps and miserable crying. And Xuanhuan's questioning. I've been so good to you, even treating you like a sister, why can you do such a cruel thing? You've been wronged, you've suffered, then what am I? What have I done wrong to you? Do you still want to team up and deceive me, want to play me like a monkey? Seeing me know nothing, and still complaining to you, are you happy and proud? You still want me to forgive you two dogs and bitches? I tell you it's impossible in this life. If her husband's cheating made her sad and angry, and the cheating object was her bestie, then she would be furious. Double betrayal is never a superposition state, but a tenfold critical strike. Xuanhuan was so angry that she was going crazy. For Xuanhuan, Zhao Jianghe was cheating, No matter who the cheating object was, they should fight and divorce, and let the other party leave the house. Qin Wugu was not even interested in finding out who the other party was. But now her best friend betrayed her, tried to deceive her, and kept pretending to be innocent. This was beyond Qin Wugu's tolerance. Wu, I'm sorry, it's all my fault, I really didn't think so, I didn't mean it, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. In between being beaten, Lu Yunqing was still talking intermittently. She was pretending to be innocent at this time, which showed that she really thought so, and her belief was really strong. Zhao Jianghe tried to get up and save the beauty several times, but was always knocked to the ground. Enough, Qin Yu. Enough. Stop hitting me, hit me if you want to hit me, it's none of her business, I was the first to fall in love, Zhao Jianghe shouted. Oh, he is really a lovesick person. It was obviously Lu Yunqing who fell in love first, and then her eyes were moving and flirting, which made Zhao Jianghe fall in love. Qin Wugu only stopped for a moment when she heard this, in order to take the lamp on the bedside table and hit Zhao Jianghe accurately. He was beaten to a bloody pulp. Ridiculous, did he think that Qin Wugu didn't want to beat him? She just didn't have time. Zhao Jianghe was stunned. After all, when the incident just broke out, Qin Wugu only slapped him several times, and never hit him so seriously. Obviously, after knowing this appearance, Qin Wugu was so angry that she lost her mind. And at this moment, there was a noise outside the door. It was Zhaoqingle. Zhaoqingle finally came back and was about to rest when he heard the noise here. He walked over with doubts in his heart. Seeing the servants constantly looking up and crying, he thought it was not good and rushed up immediately. He was stopped just at the door. He was stopped by Qin Yan and Qin Jiaxi, who couldn't squeeze to the front. Qin Yan said, "Do you know who to help after entering? If you still can't figure it out, it's better not to go." Qin Jiaxi didn't speak, but looked at this cousin worriedly. They were afraid that he would hurt his mother's heart again in a moment of impulse. Zhaoqingle already knew that it must be his mother who discovered the truth. Zhaoqingle's face was pale, but he still squeezed in. Before he could see the situation inside clearly, Jifei, who was standing in front of him, suddenly turned around and blocked Zhaoqingle. This time, Jifei was not smiling, but said very seriously, "For the last time, if you make a mistake, there is no regret medicine." If it weren't for Qin Wugu, Jifei would actually be too lazy to care about him. She felt that Zhaoqingle was a confused person, the kind of person who didn't feel pain in others when he didn't feel pain in himself. But there was no way, since Grandpa was willing to give him a choice, then give him a choice. As a result, Zhaoqingle still disappointed people. Because when he saw the situation inside, he completely forgot the kind reminders of his relatives just now, rushed in directly, grabbed his mother's waving hand, stopped Qin Wugu's action, and even quickly helped Lu Yunqing get out of Qin Wugu's grip. "Mom, what are you doing?" Zhaoqingle was shocked. His mother was always noble. How could she beat people like a shrew? Look at Lu Yunqing's face, which was swollen and broken in some places, and she cried miserably. In this situation, how could his mother do it? "Can't you see? Don't you know what happened?" Qin Wugu pointed at Lu Yunqing's clothes, the bed, and Zhao Jianghe on the ground. Zhaoqingle was not an actor after all. A strange color flashed across his face and he stammered. He didn't expect that these two people were crazy. They couldn't help it, and he couldn't face it in the Qin family. And at the moment when Zhaoqingle hesitated, the reluctant Qin Wugu seemed to be frozen all over, looking at Zhaoqingle in disbelief. "It's over, the biggest blow is coming, alas, Zhaoqingle is really disappointing, I hope my aunt can hold on." Qin Wugu's body shook. Zhaoqingle didn't notice her tears and collapse after he came in. He only noticed that his father and Lu Yunqing were beaten. What Zhaoqingle's reaction said now couldn't be clearer. "You know, you deceived me with them, You always knew it? Xiaoqinggle heard his mother's almost tearful voice, and his heart was in a mess for a moment. Mom, things are not like this. He felt panic for some reason and wanted to explain, but he didn't know where to start. In the end, he said, Mom, they are not easy either. The Qin family members all had a collective brain congestion when they heard this. It seemed that all the things they had said to him before were bullshit. This kid not only did not reflect at all, but also did not change at all. The Qin family members who didn't know the truth only understood something at this moment and immediately started to scold. Qin Xiao pointed at Xiaoqinggle and said, You are a heartless, ungrateful person. You don't help your mother, but you help your cheating father and his mistress. Do you know who gave birth to you? Qin Jing said, Have your values been eaten by a dog? It really fits the saying that it's better to raise a dog than you. I now agree with what Grandpa said. You don't deserve to be a member of the Qin family, Qin Wenqiang snorted coldly. Xiaoqinggle blushed and couldn't refute it at all. He could only look at his mother for help. But the look in his mother's eyes at this time frightened him. The expression on Qin Wogu's face was empty. She looked at him straight, then walked up to him, and without saying a word, slapped him twice. I don't have a son like you who is disloyal.